Good afternoon, and welcome into another Titan Talk. Me, Kilgoon, and Manny's back once again. Manny couldn't get a ticket today. He was excited about going, but
yeah, we don't pay him enough to afford.
no, we told him he's going to be on the show. If I'm going to be here, he's going to be here too. So
I said before the show, when I was like, I was half expecting you not to be here today, but
nope, I'm gonna listen. This show ends in an hour. It's an hour before kickoff. I will make it to watch it. I'm not going to go live or anything if anyone's interested. That decision was made for me in a weird way.
Well, because
logic just
tickets are like on the radio. I was listening, and on the radio this morning they said like get in tickets, just like cheap seats are like $4,500.
Yeah, they're on the pricey side.
Crazy.
Yeah, or you're taking the risk of getting one from like 2.5K, 3K, but then maybe you don't get the ticket. Yada. So it is what it is. But it's enough about soccer and football.
Yep.
Obviously, the rest of the world doesn't care. Although we've got plenty of European audience who are still involved in the competition too. OE39 came out this week. Xingtian yesterday. I know we had an issue with her card here that was resolved.
Yeah, so there was an issue with her passive, which, it was like we had cleaned up the code that was running some other stuff that also touched this, and created a rare server crash. Okay. So it could cause games to just end, right? So we just disabled her, and we were able to get that fixed relatively quickly and pushed out a server build, and she's re-enabled now. There are some other kind of
works.
Yeah, some other known things. I will say we had said that the Agni dash dealing damage outside of its intended area was something that we had said was fixed in this update. It actually was the last fix that was not picked up for the build.
Correct.
So that will...
We had the same conversation, by the way, because I think you'd messaged and I messaged at the same time. So the Agni Dash fix should be coming shortly. There's a couple of notes on things such as Morrigan, E-Staff, Basta, Xingtian, and the Grab. I guess we should mention that real quick. People are like noticing that Xingtian's not really performing exactly as intended, but there's a couple of fixes coming through with the next, I expect, 24 hours.
Yeah, and I've been talking with Caps quite a bit, just as we see, additional reports. Like, we playtest this stuff a lot. We look at it a lot. We playtest it on PTS. We get some feedback there. But there's always going to be some additional feels things that we get when a god goes live that, if this was a truly new god, we would get different feedback. But a lot of the feedback we get on gods is like, I'm used to playing them on SMITE 1.
This doesn't feel right.
And there's something that's different that is a small aspect of it, a small interaction that maybe we didn't hear about before, we didn't test before. Yeah. So we're going through and we're addressing those now, and we'll have some of them will be fixed soon. Some of them might be until the next update. Yeah. But by and large, we're aware of a lot of the things. I would say overall though, relatively.
Every time.
Relatively clean release.
It seems okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how the meta is going to play out a little bit more. Obviously, the last 24 hours, we've kind of seen a few things. Oh, there was I just saw that.
Yeah, I was talking about that real quick. Yeah. So real quick, the one other thing that people have been talking about, which I think is a totally reasonable concern,
for sure,
is we added something in this patch for flood protection for the chat. Yeah. And the reason why we added this, we didn't put it on patch notes because it's not really like a new feature for you. Yeah. There were a few bad actors who were abusing flooding chat to do malicious things in the last update. And I can't really say much more than that. Because,
we're not going to go too much into detail, but
so we put in a system to prevent people from overly flooding the chat to cause bad things. Yeah. However, I will say we agree that we were too restrictive with this initial rollout.
Sure.
The way it works right now is if you send 3 messages in 30 seconds, then you're locked out and you can't send messages for 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
Probably just too restrictive. Yeah. So we're going to be changing that so it's 5 messages in 15 seconds.
Okay.
And then if you do that, then you're locked out for 20 seconds or something like that. I don't remember the exact time of lockout. Sure. But the goal should be, we want you, like, normal human typing patterns should be fine. People that are abusing it should not be allowed to do that. Yeah. So our goal wasn't to prevent you guys from chatting. We set it to, I think in our internal playtests, if we're typing in chat, we're typing more sentences and less just like word, the way some people type. So we erroneously set it too restrictive. So we're going to loosen it up a little bit with the next server update. I know Nick's already made the change in the file that we need to do.
Okay.
So it's literally just the next server build. It'll let you guys chat more. So sorry that was a little too restrictive. Again, we were just trying to shut down a few bad actors.
I was going to say, part of the problem is sometimes we will release like even the the dodge penalty. Sometimes we're a bit too restrictive to begin with. It's not intentional, but we do try and fix those as quick as we can and make the updates based off community feedback too. So
yeah. And that's a good point. Shifters and Berserker aren't showing
I
up
just wrote a note down of that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll pass that along as well.
Yeah.
But I do know there's going to be a few tags that may be incorrect in the tab store, especially with some of the new itemization that came through. Some items get health, regen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about meta, obviously we saw a big shift towards like more tanky options or different tanky options, I should say. So we're starting to see how that plays out at the moment. I think there'll be initial reaction, and then I think it'll be a couple of days before we see a real reaction. And even then, I still think there's evolution on that too. So
yeah, I am curious to see where sentiment balances out on this.
Yeah.
I think the pre-patch sentiment was people were concerned that we hadn't gone far enough and that tanks weren't going to feel tanky. I think that the gut reaction that we have seen to the initial patch drop has been people said, oh, geez, tanks might actually be pretty good, which is kind of what we were expecting. So we're just going to kind of keep an eye on how players feel about it, what the data shows, and see, if we think that it's the right level of tankiness. I will just add, though, we mentioned this in the pre-patch. We still believe that we need to do more for hunters. Carries are not dealing damage at the same level that they probably should compared to mages and compared to just the tankiness of tanks in the game. So that is something we're aware of and we're going to be addressing relatively soon. Not during this update, but maybe next update, maybe the update after that if we can't get everything done for the next update. There'll probably be at least some tweaks in the next update. We'll see exactly how it all wraps up. But yeah, so we just need to address hunters. We totally agree with that feedback.
We knew before
100%. We knew we were going to need to do that. And then it's just make sure that tanks are in the right place where they feel tanky enough, but not unkillable. Which is always the balance.
Definitely, it's always a hard task too.
Yep.
For today's show, we don't have too much to really go over. Obviously, people will ask about the roadmap that I believe is next week.
Yeah, probably Monday.
Roadmap next Monday,
and
just a couple of updates.
It might be a shorter roadmap than normal. I might just do like a patch or two, just because we have, just like where it falls in our schedule. I could go farther, but I think it's probably better just to talk about a patch or two.
I think sometimes there's a scaredness as well of like saying something that we may just slightly adjust as well, in terms of order or stuff like that too.
Well, it's like, people are like, well, you said you were going to do Echo stuff. You said you were going to do Enchanter stuff. And it's like, well, we were going to, but then we thought that the more important thing to address for the game was protection items. And then now we're kind of like, well, I think maybe we need to take a little more of a look at carries, hunters than we intended to at this point in time. So that might push back Echo stuff a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
That's a good bug report. We have not seen that. That selected music doesn't rotate, and there's no default music option. So we can take a look at that. You mind writing that down for me?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Music related? Sure.
Games are going long consistently. Is the team interested in buffing objectives or walking back some anti-snowball? I need to take a look at what the actual match length change is. I would believe that it's probably gotten a little bit longer because it's harder to kill people this patch.
I think, being real, the data is probably a little bit too early, but the games will go longer at the moment because people are building more tanky. We're seeing more tanks, less people with burst damage and pen in the late game, like in a weird way. So it's going to take a bit of time for the adjustments to come through, but the game length is probably going up a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see what actually has changed. I haven't run the game length query since the patch went live.
Yeah.
I did run early God balance data, and Jingchen looks pretty good, a little bit over 50% win rate, but not crazy. Again, this is really early data.
Sure.
But
like
he does. Does day one data was like doesn't look broken overpowered, doesn't look broken underpowered.
Sure.
Right. But as people figure out how to play him better, it might go up a little bit. As people learn how to play against him, it might go down a little bit. We'll see how it fluctuates over the week. But just the gut reaction on that was he looks pretty good.
Okay.
I will say, sorry, the rest of the conversation was like, the rest of the question was, are we interested in buffing objectives or walking back some anti-snowball? I think that we are, I need to look more at the data for what's actually going on in the game. I think the anti-snowball, generally we feel like has been a positive addition to the game and is pretty on par with what other MOBAs have done for a very long time. We just never had something similar to that in our game. I think if anything, it's less impactful than the version that you'll see in many of the other most popular MOBAs. And I think that we have this, we've had this continual community problem where people have felt like I die in the early game and the game is over and I'm miserable and I'm going to make everybody else miserable and I'm going to become a surrender warrior, right? And we have seen since putting in the anti-snowball stuff, early surrenders have gone down quite a bit. Games have, it seems like in general, people feel better about the state of the game and that games are more winnable based on the data that we have and the general kind of conversations that we're seeing. So I'm more hesitant to make drastic changes to the anti-snowball. If something needed to be done, I think that maybe you could make objectives stronger, but I think that really we need to see what the data is.
I'll be honest, we've done a lot of changes consistently to the Conquest map over time in terms of buffing, nerfing and stuff like that. It's always on the go. I don't think there's ever, people saying are we against it? Yeah. I don't think the team's ever been against it. We will always make decisions based off how things are going for the most part. We're not against doing anything or rolling back things at all. So,
how come it feels like sometimes you are hesitant to bring back Smite 1 beloved features? I'm not sure what feature in particular you're talking about. So hard for me to say in particular. I'd say that we're not opposed to bring things back just because they were in Smite 1. I think that there, maybe in the early days of Smite 2 development, there was more of a, the people that were running the game at that time felt really strongly that they needed to differentiate the game from Smite 1, and maybe we're actively trying to avoid some things from Smite 1. I think that that's less what we're doing right now. Are you doing the sound? Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a second. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Hello? Hello. Okay. Yeah, I would say that we're generally not opposed to bringing back things from Smite 1, but I think that it needs to fit within the context of the game of Smite 2. And if there's something that is beloved by some people, but other people found to be a detriment to the game, then we'll have more of a discussion about it, right? The one thing I see in chat here is bring back tiki buffs, right? And tiki buffs are something that we've talked about internally a lot of times, right? And I think that, our goal initially with the Infamy system was to kind of do something, obviously not exactly the same as the tiki buffs, but
along those lines. Yeah.
Along those lines of there's a benefit for invading and stealing buffs and that part of the tiki system. I think that the tiki system is something that players that played the game a lot liked in Smite 1. I'm going to say that as somebody who played, this is my personal opinion, I played a lot of Smite 1. I have thousands of hours in Smite 1. I couldn't tell you what the optimal choice tiki to pair with the buff that I'm killing is at any given time.
Sure.
I was just
using the average player couldn't either.
It was really...
It was just pick the one that you were told to pick.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I heard that blue is good, so I'm going to get blue to go with my, I think that part of you can pick the mix and match stuff. I think that it was really hard for players who weren't super high end to understand the pros and cons and what these actually did. I think that's my one concern with the Tiki system as it was in SMITE.
And I think that's one thing the devs are, like, I've talked to the designers a few times of like, what was it about the Tiki system that the players really enjoyed? And I think it was mainly the first thing is like choice. Even though it was choice that you were going to choose the same thing, but it was still more choice, more option for doing things.
I like the bit about like invading and denying people certain things. And I think at high levels, that's super interesting, right? But again, it's just like, you need some systems that are there for high-end players to engage with, certainly. But something like Tiki's that's just everywhere, like I would love it if there was a way to just help players understand a little bit more like what the decision is even that they're making.
For sure.
Yeah, anyway.
Still a question about new UI stuff in terms of damage sources after the game or stuff to see stuff post-game. I know the team is working on that. We've mentioned that a few times. I know we're actively working on it. We've been doing stuff with the UI regarding making sure load-ins and aspects and things were displayed there now, but I do know the team is taking a look into that at the moment.
Yep, lots of stuff to be done, especially at the UI side. There's always
never ended.
Always UI stuff.
But still great stuff that happens at times.
Yep.
There was another thing regarding did you see the Reddit thread about the ability input buffering? Yeah, the team was past that.
Yep.
I know the team's taking a look at the moment actively.
Yeah, so anytime we get one of these reports, we've looked a lot at like our overarching systems that are running the game, and we think that those are actually fine, right? And that usually when there's something like this that pops up, there is a specific problem with a specific god's configuration, right?
Gotcha.
So in this case, Iset was locked out from refiring her ult for 0.5 seconds.
Gotcha.
That should not be the case, and that was causing a lot of the issues that people were feeling. If you have specific, and people saying it's not just Iset, what I'm saying to you is that we need the specific examples of things that
locked out that shouldn't be locked out,
that don't feel right to you, because it's in every time we've ever looked at this, it has been a specific God-specific setup issue and not a core overarching system. The core overarching system seems like it's working as expected, and the specific examples that we are given as to why something feels bad is always a God-specific setup issue. So please, give us more God-specific setup issues that you run into, and it can just be like, here's a video, this doesn't feel right, like post it on Reddit. Like we saw this on Reddit, right? Yep. We'll take a look, and every time that something like this has come up, it has been a God-specific setup issue.
Where's the Prism chest? I guess it's off at the moment. You'd have to keep an eye out for it returning in the future.
Yeah. It comes on and off over time. It'll we don't just leave every chest up all the time, because that would just be too many. Like it kind of overcrowds the scene. We only really do it for like big, like sale event moments, when people are more willing to like look through everything to see what's on sale. I would assume it'll be back kind of the next big seasonal sale. That's usually when the Prism chest comes back. It usually comes on for the big sale on a sale price, and then it stays on for a little bit longer off sale price, and then rotates out for a while. Zing can't sneeze right after he throws somebody. Is that intentional? So this is another specific God setup thing. So there's a little bit too much of a post-fire delay is what we call it on his ultimate right now, which your post-fire delay is basically just like the period of time until you can take another action. Yeah. And we're aware that the post-fire delay is too long on the ultimate. It's one of the things that's going to be fixed in a future update, whether it's a hotfix this week or I assume it'll be in a hotfix this week, but there's a chance that it isn't until the next major update, depending on what the fix involves. Yes, X-Mentally. I followed up about this today. Is there any news on the Wandering Market not giving level up coins after leveling up the market a few hundred times? I have 90 plus boosters right now and cannot earn any coins despite having barely any coins at all. So I asked today to try and figure out what was going on here. And the Wandering Market, I believe it is at level, I want to say it is 382. Okay. If you manage to get to level 382 on the Wandering Market, it does cut off because we did not foresee people
getting
that far in a patch cycle.
Okay.
We're going to add some more levels.
That's great. Okay.
It's just literally you play the game a lot. Like, so you have gotten to a really high level, and we just did not set up additional levels beyond a certain point. In one cycle, yes.
300. Okay.
Yeah. So
what a specifically small issue, I guess, but a crazy issue.
Yeah. No, which is, I mean, hey, I appreciate you for playing the game, dude. I'm not trying to call you out. Like,
it's just a wild one to go.
But it's like that's the reason. Is just that we set up a limit that we thought players wouldn't really get. We didn't really like run the numbers. We're just like, this seems like more time than players are going to get to. There are definitely a few players that have gotten to that number, and we just need to add more levels. So we're just going to add like, I don't know, like another 500 levels.
Double it just in case.
Yeah. I mean, just a bunch more levels so that you can continue to earn rewards. It was an oversight on our behalf that people would be able to achieve that many levels. Mm-hmm. So, sorry about that. That it took me a little while to get to an answer on that. I brought it up once or twice and feel like, no, it seems like it's working. And then we looked at it more. It's like, oh, it's working up until, because we thought something was breaking with the cycle to loop.
Right.
And not that you hit the end of the level. So it's like, oh, yeah. So anyway. Why did we manually add every level instead of coding a looping thing? Because it was much easier to set up this way in our backend. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a lot easier to just be like, here's a database table of all of the levels, and this is how much XP you need for each level, versus having to code a new function to be like, okay, now go back and look at the same level over and over and over. It was easier fix. Mm-hmm. And it literally takes like 2 minutes to add 1,000 levels if we wanted to. It's easy to do. We just didn't add more rows because we didn't think we needed to, but we made a mistake. Why not show what level we are past 80? That's a fair question. We could consider adding that number to the store page. That would be fine for me. I don't really, not trying to hide the information. Probably we just didn't think about putting it on the page. Easier equals spaghetti. No, easier actually just means it's easier for us to set this up and then change it in the future, right? Because it's like really easy, and it's actually like better engineered to just have things that call upon a database table than to be like everything's hard coded in and you have to go in and change it manually, right? Yeah. So it for us, it was just like, this is both a easier to implement and an easier to update and maintain way of handling levels.
I've made a note of the Jing 10 one that people keep mentioning, not going through walls. I thought we'd already resolved that one.
That is on Capstone.
Is that on the list?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because
there was a pretty comprehensive Reddit post actually that got posted. I don't know if it was yesterday night or this morning, but we knew, I think, everything that was on that post. That's not me saying I'm not appreciative of whoever put that post together. Sure. But like, we are tracking everything.
So many issues, but yeah.
Keep our eyes open for reports. So I think there might have been one thing on there that we didn't know about, or like I'm not trying to underestimate it, but like, yeah, we're definitely tracking all those issues and are aware of them.
Still trying to understand that. Super niche, but can we get the red enemy level or HP bars for low HP mirror matches? It's hard to tell at the critical moment. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't understand what that question means either. I'm sorry.
If you can reword it, I'll try and work it out. But it's hard to understand what that means. Maybe somebody else in chat is already translating and you're idiots. Yeah. It's this. Progress in the Enchanter front. You won't get news of any progress in the Enchanter front anytime soon. Stop asking questions about it. We said, I knew there was going to be a thing, and I'm like, I'm already going to put my foot down on it. Of like, no, it was literally mentioned, and it's going to be a while.
Yeah, so it's something we want to do. It's going to be a little while. We have sagas. Do you anticipate a tier 5 skin being planned in the future, or are sagas the future of high-end cosmetics? I think that we certainly could have a tier 5 in the future. I don't think we're saying we're only going to do sagas ever.
Sure.
I think the benefits of sagas is that they are, you get to choose what version you like and not have to cycle through things that you might not like as much.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the consistent complaint we get about a lot of the tier 5 skins. It's like, oh, I like the final form of, I don't know, Archon Thanatos, but man, I have to like be less cool for part of the game. That's less fun, right? Like,
sure.
Or I don't know, like there was that chalk one that had the multiple forms. And there was like the one with 4 legs, and there was like the kind of angelic one. I love the 4-leg one, right? And then it was like every time I transformed out of it, I was like, I just wanted to like put in the VXG to switch back to the 4-legged one, right? And like, yes, we gave you the ability to do that because we got so much feedback around people wanting to be in a specific form. But I think that like the saga kind of solves for that for some, you know, some of those issues. I think that tier 5s are really cool though. I think tier 5s are also just like more work. And that's not me saying that like, you know, we're being lazy or, you know, but like we're trying to put out a god every 2 weeks. We only have so much effort that I want to spend on cosmetics, because time spent on cosmetics is time that isn't being spent on other things.
People complain that all we do is make skins and not fix the game.
Yeah.
You know, like,
And if we work on a tier 5, that just is going to be more resources from the company.
Yeah.
And also last thing on tier 5s, tier 5s historically were part of like $100 events, right? The saga events have all been cheaper than tier 5 events. It's harder for people to understand because we changed our currency around a little bit. But it has been cheaper to buy saga events than it was to buy tier 5 events. So if we were to bring back tier 5s, those would be more expensive events as well, just to be transparent.
Yeah. A couple of questions about streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. There's no plans for us to do YouTube right now. We still upload to YouTube, and if you want questions asked, you can just come here and ask them, or the Reddit or the bugs. As always, we'll always answer them there. And then somebody else asked a question about, where was it? I had 2 and I've lost one. Hotfix notes. Hotfix notes are not going on the Steam page. We're publishing to the SMITE wiki because it's a little bit easier and quicker for us to do. We're not putting them on Steam every single time because the times that we're releasing these is all over the place too. We want a uniform place because we have players that are just not on Steam as well that also play the game. So trying to like unify it to the wiki is kind of the goal there. And they get updated at the same time. So saying they're going to be on Steam quicker is not the case.
Yep.
It's all manual.
Hi, I'm the one who posted the ESET ability input buffer thing on Reddit. Hope you guys saw it. Yeah, we did. We talked about that, I don't know, 5-10 minutes ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you go back and check the VOD, thank you for posting that.
TLDR, team's taking a look, and there's already work in progress.
Yeah, and if you have any more specific issues, please let us know, because almost always, just like in this case, this was a specific God setup issue, not a core systems issue.
Yeah.
So if you have any of these, it's probably a specific God setup issue, and please let us know, and we can investigate. The laying it all out was very helpful for us. Would you consider bringing back a tier 5 in the form of a saga with selectable forms? I think part of what makes a tier 5 is that it does evolve and change. Like, I think that's kind of one of the core features that we've always thought. So I don't fully know how that would work. I guess you're saying like I can pick the different prisms I want at different levels or something, or different, like for the different forms. Maybe, I don't know. I would say we haven't really thought that much on it right now, just because, again, we have so much that we want to get done that putting the time into making a tier 5 right now just doesn't seem like the best use of our development time. Like, we have to make cosmetics to make money to keep making the game. That's why we make sagas and skins and stuff. And the team does an amazing job with them. But like, most of our development focus is on like, let's make sure that we're making the core game better. Let's make sure that we're adding gods. Let's make sure that we're working on the things that, will improve the game versus making another really fancy skin to sell. When there's 2 of the same gods and they're both at 1 HP, it's hard to tell who the enemy is. In Smite 1, there was a red box around enemies. So are you talking about the
highlighted,
the target, like the like when you hover over a god, there's the red bracket that like it kind of like goes like in and out a little bit, and it kind of goes from like red to white. That's what you're talking about. If so, That is something that is on our list of things that we want to do. Right now we have the arrows that like highlight around a name tag, which we think is probably better for newer players, which is why we went that direction, because the kind of bracket targeter, we got a lot of feedback from players. They thought that like it meant that they were locked on and they were going to hit something.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, which is not the way that it really works. But we do want to bring that back at least as an option for people.
Yeah.
So yeah, the red rectangle is on our list to do. It's actually getting towards the top of the list. I'm not going to say it's, in the next update or anything, but like it's one of the things that we want to get done sooner than later, I would say. So that is something that we want to do if that's what you're talking about. Just for mirror match. I really don't understand this mirror match only 1 HP. I guess I'll look at Smite 1. Maybe there's some other mirror match thing that we did, but I'll take a look. Okay.
Johnny asking about high SRQs, maybe slightly longer but better balance, because right now it feels like it's just a lottery on what gets the worst player in the team. Johnny, as you're a member of those teams, I'm going to say this. As you're a member of those teams, Johnny, you technically should be at an advantage the whole time because you're playing, right? Which means you've got a higher percentage of winning those games anyway. Being real with you, end of the day, the highest level players are getting selected for those matches. And if there's players that you deem are lower level than you, then get better. And obviously queue times are a thing. We have to wait for queues anyway. It's who's available at the same time. I don't think there's additional stuff that's coming into play there at the moment. But at the moment, I know the way the the rank system is working is selecting the best one. You're usually the bad player. Well, that's why you're losing so many games, Johnny. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to tell you if that's the case. You're asking about, hey, can I get an SR deficit because I'm losing is what that says now then.
When can we expect to go past level 382 on the market so I can go back to farmer coins? Probably next major update. So probably when Kakulin releases. It's one of those things a little bit difficult to hotfix.
Yeah.
And we just kind of got to the bottom of it this morning talking about it. So
yep.
I'm expecting next major update will be when that's fixed. So apologies, but thank you for bringing this up and letting us know that this was an issue and us getting to the bottom of it.
Someone else mentioned solo queue after Obsidian Plus. I've brought this up before, but we've had a lot of feedback from high-level players that say they don't want solo queue after a certain level, even though that technically on paper would improve matchmaking to balance out the games completely evenly of like, well, I say completely even, but let's be honest. But people still want to be able to play with their friends at a higher level, and so we have left it in for that reason. We've given the feedback, we've suggested this is an idea, but a lot of the community feedback has been we would like to still be able to queue with our friends even though we're high level.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for explaining. I think told the sign-ups explanation here of when two people are low HP, you can't see the team color of the bar, which makes it hard to see who's on your team and not. And this is what he's talking about, which that makes sense to me as an issue, something we can take a look at. So appreciate you explaining the issue and take a look. Are role passives still viewed as the way forward, or have there been any thoughts on reverting or adjusting to help increase starter diversity? So I think we still like role passives. I think that the existence of role passives has greatly reduced the number of non-matches of Smite. There are a lot fewer games where the jungler or support just forgets to buy the right starter and the game is over at minute 0. That was something that happened quite frequently, especially like below the highest skill levels. And I don't just mean new players. I mean, other than like high-end ranked, this happened, even if it was like 5 in 100 games, like that's still a lot, right?
Sure.
That's a lot of percentage of games that are just getting kind of ruined because somebody is not doing the thing that they have to do for the role to work. So I think that we think that part of role, of the role passive stuff probably is good for the game and needs to stick around. Future of starters, I think that we believe that the starters could be a lot more interesting. There can be a lot more that can be done to make them have more unique identities and have unique pickup reasons. It's not just they're all the same or, variations on a theme. That's something that we do want to look at in the future, not soon. Mm-hmm. We got a couple other things we need to get to first, but that like starters are something that we do want to look at. But I think the role passives solved a major problem and introduced and brought to light an issue with the way that our starters have worked for years.
Sure.
More than, them being the root of the problem, more than the role passives being the root of a problem itself. Can we look at the post-fire on Rat's second ability? It feels longer than it should be. Sure, that's really good direct feedback. Just to confirm, do you mean base Rat's second ability, and is that with or without the acorn that affects the second ability? Because there are like 6 Rat second abilities, so I'm exaggerating slightly, but there's quite a few. So if you have the specific one, we're happy to take a look at it. And we can take a look at it without, but more details makes it easier for us to take a look at.
What is the utility of getting colorblind mode on the ground AoEs? As red-green colorblind person severely struggled to play into Artemis because I can't see her traps on AoEs. I thought there was a colorblind mode already.
I thought
we've got variations of the colorblind mode in game, correct?
I thought there were. I don't know specifically. I thought that we had colorblind stuff already.
Yeah, if there's a specific one there that we've not got, please let us know, Scrimble. Send a bug report into us, and I'll get the team to take a look. Specifically at what you're showing as like a colorblind issue there, because I'm pretty sure the team's already gone through those. It doesn't affect the ground AoEs. It hasn't since Smite 1. I thought they did. I thought we'd already taken a look at that. Okay.
What is Bobby thumbs upping? I'm trying to see.
Oh, Bobby was saying he was going to voice a pack earlier.
Post fire on Amos 3 is a little too long. Okay, cool. Take a look at that. Cool. I've got a note for that one too.
No, inbound. I don't want you to. Thank you. I don't even know which god would Bobby do if he was to do a tier 5 skin.
Cronus has had an issue since Smite 1 where if you have your 3 ramping to stun on a character with a leap, when they leap, they just teleport to the end of their leap, which messes with the placement of his 1 for a combo. So this is intent. The way that our game works is if you are stunned during a jump, during a leap, you will go to the end of your leap and be stunned at that point.
Yeah.
That is the design intent. That has always been the design intent for Smite. Anything that causes a stun while you're in the middle of a tween takes you to the end of that and then stuns you there.
We have to do some of that just for the simple fact of, let's just say you're going to leap over a wall as you're getting mid-stunned. There's potential to cause additional issues of getting stuck in walls, stuck in the sky.
Yeah.
So we do have to look at doing some sort of baseline of like, this is what's going to happen here. And Kronos is one that kind of stands out most with the AO3 because it is a slow to stun, which is something that we don't have too many of in the game, but it does make an impact. I guess the same as Alposh 3 would do the same thing if you've got a heal tick at the same time as doing something too. So
yeah, there's a few ways for it to happen, but it's
they're the most notable ones I can think of like, wait, why did he move that quick? Can Kepri get a buff? He's not in a great place. I would say play Kepri a little bit more before Kepri needs buffs. Reminder for everybody, Kepri's 2 is damage mitigation for your team and shred for the enemy team. Give it a go.
I
know it's a very W key meta at the moment though, but yeah.
I know that this is like a... I played, I think this is just like the meta way to do it, but I think like Bluestone Kepri also just feels like it does a lot of damage early game.
It does.
It does so much damage.
You're weirded later on. After that first 5 levels, right, you're going to poke people out, but then all of a sudden you could have got something more beneficial for your team as a support player. But, if you're going to go for a damage, don't go damage Kepri. He doesn't do damage. But for poke, I agree.
Yeah, just the other interesting thing, maybe for chat is that basically since he came out, Kepri has been like the winningest god in Arena.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we don't really balance around arena specifically, but and he's not super high pick rate, so it's not like, you know, he's the most picked god and he's the highest win rate or anything. He's relatively low pick rate because I think people think arena I should do damage and blow people up, but he has been the highest win rate god in arena for
I'd say the
forever.
reason you don't see him as much in arenas because, like, obviously the ultimate is great for saving a life, but there's so many kills in arena and it's fighting so often that you don't have it up as often, obviously. So
yep.
And then people will run back in anyway, like, oh, thanks, I'm going back in again straight away. Has Runeforge been overperforming or is it doing fine? When I do go against it, it feels strong now that I'm more squishier. I would say this is still early days of the new update. I don't think we're seeing as much Runeforge as we once did. I do still think it's an effective item, but I don't think it's the clear-cut best option in all roles. You know, it wasn't anyway, but like in certain roles in solo specifically is where we're seeing a lot of it. But I do see a lot more mixing up in the solo lane now in terms of build options.
I've not seen this Chronos ult bug that you're talking about, Corn Chili. Is this for every base Chronos ult?
I think I saw a report of this now and again.
Oh,
It's not guaranteed, but
it's just like
there's a situation where like they'll rewind and then not move and then move to where they were.
I wonder if that's just like a
delay
client server
disagreement.
Issue.
Yeah. I've already let the team know, but I will remind them again. Look into it.
The global execute mark for Thanatos is a fair question. I'll write that down. I have no idea why that was changed in the first place. But isn't he good right now? Do we need to make him better?
Who, Thana?
Thana.
You know what? Whenever there's stuff changing with penetration, right, Thanatos always reappears.
I thought he was pretty good.
He's pretty solid. But like Thanatos having flat pen in his kit has always been a thing of like, oh, he swings even more. I think he's doing okay at the moment.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like
it's a quality of life buff, but a buff.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like people are like, "Oh yeah, this god is doing really well. We should do this thing to make him better." I'm like, well, maybe we could hold on.
But we don't intentionally like not fix bugs just for the sake of like, well, he's OP already.
Is there going to be an option to have a random toggle for announcer packs, etc.? Good news. It's in this update that just went live. If you select multiple announcer packs, it will randomize through them, or it should. We did get a report today that music packs might not be working properly. So we'll take a look into that. We had not gotten that bug report previously, so we'll take a look. But yeah, if you just go into the announcer pack section, you can now equip multiple announcer packs, and then it'll pick a different one at the start of every game. And I do know that's worked because, I mean, it has worked in our playtesting at least, so... how have Pele and Kali been doing? They were strong for a long time. Kali was pretty good, so we nerfed her heading into this update. I didn't look at her performance when I pulled the numbers yesterday. Pele was really good for a really long time. I think the last update we finally nerfed her down to a manageable level.
But now I'll be honest, like the Pele aspects that I saw yesterday,
it might be good again now.
They still existed,
and especially now that like tank items are better, she might be good again. So
both still good, but both have taken relatively decent nerfs the last couple of updates, and I know the team will continue to look at that if that continues to be an issue. I'm definitely intrigued. How's Aladdin been, by the way? Because I've been really interested by the Aladdin changes we put in this update. I saw a few streamers playing around with it. Has anyone had any thoughts on Aladdin with the latest update? I know he might not be the big go-to, but I'm definitely intrigued from what I've seen of. Does he feel a little bit more, I guess, in line? Because he's such a high skill, high variant sort of character for a lot of players, but the top end he can look really good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how people feel.
Not one person's going to respond to that. We don't care about Aladdin today. It's Kali and Pele.
It's like when
he needs more nerfs. That doesn't surprise me.
I listen to a lot of sports talk radio.
Yeah,
and less than I used to, but I still listen to it some. And like sometimes the guy, the host, will just be like trying to get somebody to call in on a topic,
say something. Yeah,
and he just kind of keeps talking, and then eventually just kind of has to give up and move on because nobody will call in on the topic. And sometimes I feel like we do that on this show, where we're like, yeah, I would love to talk about this, and then
And that's
nobody
part
wants
of
to talk about
That's
that.
part of it.
Yeah,
That's part
we're going on to the next
of it.
one.
Aladdin's still crazy. Aladdin banning 90% of my games. Sure. Okay. I mean, Aladdin's still getting high bans to begin with. Doesn't surprise me within 24 hours, but definitely intrigued to see how he is. I do expect him to still be solid, but I don't think he's going to be as ridiculous, I guess is the word. He was never ridiculous, but he's just really good.
Are we going to be able to see our accolades when there's a larger UI overhaul, or are there other difficulties with it? So yeah, I think that we one of the things that we want to do is, have more like God specific stats and achievements, and I say achievements like in-game achievements, not system level achievements, because those are, different can of worms, which I've talked about many times on other shows. But like, and like in-game sharing with the other people in your match when achievements are hit and all that stuff. That's all on our to-do list. We just have a long to-do list of things. It's a lot of work to recreate a game that had 10 plus years of features, and while trying to improve things, while going as fast as you can. Accolades and clans ASAP. So probably not ASAP, I'm going to say, but I will say like clans is an interesting one because I think that like clans was a system that was like there and not there many times over Smite 1's life, because there were a lot of like technical issues with clans, and also it was hard to figure out what the right role was for the function, right? I think the biggest benefit of the clans that I would consider bringing back, right, is like some kind of a clan tag plus chat room, like so you could like coordinate
parties more than anything.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Forming parties. I think all the extra stuff of like, oh, you can earn points and get skins that are additional like recolors and like all that stuff was a lot of work, and I don't think it really made the systems too much better.
For sure.
So I think that like if clans come back, I see personally more of like a simplified tag plus chat
option
kind of thing versus
just for communication with fellow people that you like hanging around with.
Yeah. So I hopefully everybody agrees that like those are the important parts of clans, and it's not just going to be like if we bring it back, everybody's just going to complain that they don't get a bunch of free skins out of it, because that's my worry. And I don't want to bring like there's a lot of ways to get free stuff in Smite 2. I don't want to bring back another like, and here's another set of 10 skins or whatever we have to make.
Mm-hmm. I don't know on the Bastet ult after someone is hit with your 2 if the cats are dashing is intended or not personally, so I can't guarantee that, Johnny, but I'll ask. I could see a yes or no answer to that one, to be honest, so I can't guarantee either way.
People ask about referral rewards. Referral rewards worked well when we were on our own client. Like when Smite was a standalone launcher, worked pretty well. Never really worked well on Steam or on the consoles. And we experimented with doing similar, refer a friend type promotions on the other games that we run, and those never really did anything on not standalone launcher. Standalone launcher was very useful, otherwise not. So probably not something that's going to come back anytime soon.
There is a bug with Basta is stunned while jumping. She gets stuck in a jump state where she can't use any abilities until she dies. Yeah, just a heads up. We mentioned that earlier on that we've got a couple of hot figures come through. I did see that one list on there of improvements to Bastet's Pounce. I know we've continued to iterate on that to make it as good as possible, because it definitely was in a weird jarring thing from Smite 1, to be honest, because when that was first created, it used to be CC immune. But now, since then, obviously things have changed. But I know there's been a couple of like small issues regarding the Pounce getting stuck and stuff. But I do believe there is a fix on the way to try and prevent that from happening on the AO1, on the Pounce having issues there. And then I saw another question just after that, if I can remember it. Nimble Ring not granting attack damage boost. We are aware of that one from my understanding too. Yeah.
Any chance I saw the Atlas aspect report with his 2 bugging when used while the astrolabe is moving? Yeah, every time a new Atlas aspect bug report comes in, I turn around and I talk to Austin and I'm like, your favorite god has yet another bug.
Every time.
He's, but yeah, we're aware of it. He was taking a look at it. I'm not sure. I assume it got fixed internally at least.
Can we add more MP5 items for supports as we have no green buff now? I don't think it's about the green buff, to be honest, that you need this. I know MP5 on support can be a bit tricky. There is items like Genji's. There's also Regrowth Striders. There's Jabalban Effigy that everybody sleeps on too. But I do know that support's mono regen is always a thing, in my opinion, and just try to find that balance point. But I don't necessarily think we need a ton more in the MP5 option. Maybe a couple of other options could be a thing. But yeah, I do think having some sort of mana cost for supports is important, in my opinion. I do think they're the ones that struggle the most with some of the MP5 changes.
How many Morrigan bugs are you aware of? There's a few. I would say probably fewer than chat seems to think that there are, because they're always complaining that
For sure.
there's a ton of Morrigan bugs.
Yeah.
I'll say when we see them, generally we try and fix them as they come in. I think that there's going to be one for a interaction with Jing Chen, which also affects Nemesis.
Okay.
That will be either in a hot fix or the next, because Jing Chen, Leap, and Nemesis Dash use kind of similar patterns in the way that they're created. So it was something that was affecting both of those. Sorry, I'm sleepy. It's been a day. My kids were not very sleepy this morning. I was like, please just sleep. I just want to sleep.
I've been trying to condense as much work into today so I can go and watch the football this afternoon.
Yes.
Is my goal, but don't worry, I'm not a slack chat. I promise you. But yeah, it's been a busy morning so far.
Yeah. I was supposed to have a meeting right now, but I was able to get out of the meeting. So
by saying Titan talk.
Yeah.
So I've got to talk to all the Titan.
Yeah. No, I was supposed to meet with accounting and stuff, and I was like, oh, can we do this another time? I got Titan talk. And they're like, what about next Tuesday? I was like, that's even better. I don't have to worry about this.
Tuesdays are fine. Yeah. No excuse.
Yeah. Was that a teaser? Kumakarna's coming? No, it's a teaser that I'm sleepy. That's about it. Where can you get a hat like Manny's? We sold them at the Vegas event.
Yeah, they were available for a while. We don't have any active at the moment, unfortunately, on our merchandise. We do allow people to make merchandise if they want to. I believe we got more candles coming in soon.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Nice.
So I'll give you updates on that later. But yeah, you can find the opportunity there. Who you all got on the World Cup? I'm English. I'm still not going to guarantee we're going to win, though. Seeing France go out was crazy.
Yeah.
But Spain are insane, and hopefully Argentina lose. That's my takes. Overall, a really interesting World Cup there. Good year for the World Cup if you've not watched it before.
And it's looking good for the Atlanta Hawks in Summer League. For basketball. Nobody cares about Summer League basketball.
Like Summer League, that's a thing too.
It's like the rookie practice league. Okay. So it's only like first and second year draftees, and then like players that are kind of fringy playing overseas trying to get a spot, kind of.
Okay.
It's kind of like a showcase for them too.
It's like under 21s in soccer then or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the World Cup for under 21 or 22 or something like that.
So they do this thing every year. They do like kind of a smaller one in Salt Lake, and then the big one's in Vegas, and the big one's happening right now.
Okay.
And they play like 5 or 6 games. It's a relatively small thing. But the Hawks are 4-0 right now and look like they're going to go to the playoffs. So maybe the Hawks will win something for the first time in forever. That'd be great. We're talking about practice? Yeah. Do people genuinely watch the Summer League? There are degenerates, such as myself, who...
I was going to say, clearly what?
Put on Summer League basketball games. I'm excited. So I've only watched Summer League in years where it's like, oh, we've got a couple new players that I'm excited to see how they develop, right? And I think that, like, I'm really excited about Kingston Flemings. I think like Zuby-Ejiofor has a lot of potential, and he's looked really good, like a lot better than people were expecting. And then we also got Henry Vesar in the second round, and people said that he was more of like a first round talent, and he's looked really good. So I don't know. It's just been interesting to watch like the 3 new guys and see how they're doing. But yes, I'm done with my basketball side rant.
I am making a note about what I've just seen in chat regarding the God Select issue with trading gods. Your aspect can get stuck on or off. I have seen 1 or 2 reports about that, but it does seem to be becoming more common, so I'll have the team take a look at that. Because I've even been engaged myself just for awareness of like custom games where people thought it was on and it wasn't, or that it was off and it wasn't. So the team will take a look.
Somebody is asking about like giving diamond codes for giveaways and whatnot. I do believe that you can get diamond codes on why am I forgetting the name of the website? Nexus. Yeah. So if you go to nexus.gg, they are an official
if you are a content creator and you can head over to Nexus to apply to get some codes from us, but you have to actually be streaming, making content, interacting with the community, and we're not just going to give you codes for the sake of like you there.
No, but I meant you can also just like buy if you just want to like buy diamond codes to give to your friends, you can do that through nexus.gg. It's like, and I believe they only like, the way it works for us, it doesn't have the same kind of arbitrage issues of trying to like do in-game gifting. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, chat, you caught me there. There's a bug where my friends won't play the game with me until ranked joust is added. Any ETA for a fix? I answer this question every other week, maybe more often than that. But yeah, ranked joust just historically a very unpopular mode. I understand that there's some people that really cared about ranked joust. Just not our top priority right now, given how historically unpopular it was. Like it affects a very, very small percentage of the player base. Maybe something that we'll address in the future because there is continued calls for it, but small percentage.
Flair, you've already answered this question this week.
I probably have.
This is the show, Flair. This is part of the show.
Yeah.
When we may get frustrated at times, we understand that there's a lot of people that will enter chat randomly. They might have watched one in the past 3 months of these, maybe caught a YouTube video or something. I mean, I'll check this out this week. So yeah, we do get a lot of repeat questions about the same questions.
Yeah, if I had not laughed at that question, I probably wouldn't have answered it, but it caught me
because it caught you. Yeah.
And then I was like, I should say what I laughed about. What happened to the ranked format for top MMRs for Joust? That was like a theoretical, we were kind of bullshitting about it thing where we thought that it would be cool if you're above a certain level, maybe the rules of the Joust queue, or you're above a certain MMR, the rules of the Joust queue kind of shift and it becomes more like a ranked queue. But that was, again, more of like a theoretical, wouldn't that be cool thing versus that is 100% definitely something we're doing. And one of the ways that we've talked about solving the ranked Joust problem. Would it be possible that mode of the day makes it into SMITE 2 before the end of the year, or not that high on the list? We talked about this pretty recently too, but basically we could work on mode of the day, or we could have the people working that like our level designers work on things, the other things they can work on, like new conquest objectives, working on our core maps, working on, God AI is something else that sits with level design. So I think that like, it's just a matter of prioritization. And will there be a point this year where match of the day becomes the highest priority thing on their list? Possibly.
Yeah.
But is it the highest priority thing right now? Certainly not.
Has there been any talks about updating Spectator or possible replay edition, even just for customs? Same sort of thing as what Kilgan just mentioned there regarding like what levels we can go to in terms of investment and stuff. I know custom games is something that I'd like to see further investment into next at some point, mainly just to give more options and variability, but also within a certain, ratio. In a weird way, it's match of the day and custom games can kind of go hand in hand in that sense of making these match of the day games that could also be even available in custom games, or custom games having the ability to create different options and availability is something. However, all the like leagues and players want different things in their custom games. They want to increase the gold. They want to increase, how many characters are on each team. They want to have certain amounts of bans or picks. And instead of just putting one method in there, like, well, I didn't want this one. Trying to, unify across would be the goal. But just no ETA. It is something we do care about, though. It is 1:59.
Alas.
Shame. Which means it's time for
one more question.
I'm only saying shame because
he's got somewhere to be.
I've got to get out of here, try and find a pub with a bar that will have the game on. Last time I went, there was people watching golf. And there was 15 TVs in there, and I took the one TV that nobody was at. There was a group behind me sat over there, all in golf gear, all these gentlemen in golf gear. I said, could I get England on the TV, please? And the guys behind me like, we're watching golf. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. They're like, it'll be over soon. An hour and a half. No, I think it was an hour and a half. And I got there like 40 minutes early too. And I'm just like, I'm not one to argue or drama over this. I tried to sit alone too, where I'm like out of the way. Just couldn't believe it. The golf. They're like, we're watching the golf. I'm like,
who
really?
Who goes to a bar to watch golf? I'm not a golf person.
Get me out.
I'm not trying to hate on this.
Did I buy the ticket? Chris, if I bought the ticket, would I be sat here at 2:00 when the game's in an hour? We live in Atlanta, okay? We're outside of Atlanta. Do you know how bad the traffic is? Any given day of the week to get downtown within an hour? There's no chance. I might make it by full time if I'm lucky. So no. I'm watching it at home, and I'll cry as we lose again.
Yeah, rip.
That wasn't my question, by the way.
No, I think that's a great question. I think we should set it on that. I think that we've done it.
How much was the ticket? Well, the tickets for the Argentina game today, the lowest I saw him really get to at the moment is like 2.5K. And that's for a high up seat. I'm not going to pay that. I did pay $1,000 for a Ghana game, which in my head, I'm like, why did I pay that? I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But after that one, I'm like, I can't do another one. Yeah. Like, I don't treat myself like that, chap.
Next time talk, can we ban any sports questions? Sorry.
Sure. You know what? I'm going to say yes because the World Cup ends on Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
Either way. I've lost or won, and one I'll be fine. I'll be like, yeah, sure, no sports questions. Okay. I'm happy.
Fine.
If we lose, I don't want to talk sports anyway. So this is a win-win.
Yeah,
but then we can't talk about the Hawks or anything like that.
You got to remind me. You got to remind me if I try and say no sports.
No sports.
I'm sorry.
We agreed.
Only golf questions. Ugh, I cannot talk golf. I'm sorry. I just know nothing about.
Okay, I'm trying to find one proper question now. Any chance of an active item with a cripple? Interesting. I'd say potentially it wouldn't be off the cards, but I don't think it's on a list right now.
No,
it'd be kind of like a reverse stampede, right? You pop it and roots come up or something. Or,
that's the thing. It would need some good like conveyance, because I think that like one of the active items that I have a lot of problems with is the way that on Chile and Sile, however you pronounce it.
I say and Sile, but I know visible.
That like it's hard to tell when that is the source of you being silenced, and it feels like it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
For sure.
And I don't really like that about it. Yeah. And I think that cripple is another one of those effects that is kind of an invisible effect, and but it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that like most abilities that cripple you have very clear like ground-based effects that go with it.
Yeah. It'd have to be a delay or something, or just something involved. A good example is like RTOs too, where she can show the floor on the ground, like, hey, you stand on this, you're going to get crippled, that sort of thing.
Or, whirlpool or chains. There's a lot of very clear visuals tied to crippling. So that would be my one concern around that.
I wouldn't say it was off the table, though, that we could look at something like that, but that's not for me and Kilgoon to do. Is that it for you today? You got one more question?
Just because this one just popped up. I feel like holes in Conquest could be an interesting mechanic. I agree. No.
I mean, Arena was fun. But everybody's in there. I imagine it in Conquest the whole day. The amount of people I'm actually seeing die to those fire giant doors is going up, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I just see more and more people just accidentally getting crushed by them. It's crazy.
Well, maybe we replace the fire giant doors with a pit.
Hole you got to jump over.
You got to jump over.
I know you can walk
or
into
get thrown back into
push into.
Yeah.
Fire giant's going to knock back into it. We can but dream. Chat, thank you so much for tuning in today. Apologies we didn't have much to talk about other than just general Q&A with you all. We'll be back on Friday, though, to have a little look at how things potentially are going, give you feedback on any hotfixes that have come through, and also probably listen to the feedback on Xingtan Aspect.
Yes.
Because he'll be spinning to win the whole time.
He will.
But if we don't see you beforehand,
a lot of damage.
We'll see you on the battleground. Goodbye.